Thank you for joining us on your Thursday evening tonight. We're so happy to have you here for Culinary Medicine. Just a few housekeeping guidelines we want to go through before we get started. As you noticed, all of your microphones have been muted just to minimize any background noise, but we do invite your engagement through the chat, so we hope you'll connect with us over there. And all of the cameras have been turned off so that we can focus all of our attention on Chef Alyssa and her amazing cooking skills she's going to share with us. And speaking of Chef Alyssa, we'll do a brief introduction here. So we're so pleased and lucky to have her here with us, not only today, but really for several years now. She's been, sharing her talent and her time with us. And she's a personal chef with over 25 years of experience. She has this unique way of being able to combine flavor along with good nutrients, which is something that so many of us find elusive, but good food really can taste good. And then we've got Allison and we've got myself over on Maui. Allison's on the Big Island. Together we are here co-hosting and facilitating the class alongside. So again, you're in good hands. Happy to have you here today. And just to set a little bit of a base for everyone joining, because for some of you it may be your very first time and you might be thinking, okay, well, what is so special about this whole food plant-based diet anyways? Well, there's really a lot to get excited about. So this diet can significantly, number one, reduce your carbon footprint in about half, but it's also the only diet scientifically proven to prevent and reverse chronic disease. Scientifically proven, prevent and reverse disease, right? Who doesn't want more of that? So we're talking type 2 diabetes, coronary artery disease. That's a big, big deal. So what is in a whole food plant-based diet? Well, it really means we're celebrating food in its most natural form, closest to the way that it was grown. So that includes fruits, vegetables, grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds. And at the same time as we're really celebrating those foods, we're trying to minimize or reduce processed foods. So processed foods meaning refined sugars, white flour, animal-derived foods. All of those foods over time can create an excess load on our bodies that they're tasked with processing. So we want to try to weed those out. Now I get this can be a little bit challenging, a little bit daunting at first, like how do I do this? So we put these simple phrases up here on the screen here. These were coined by Michael Pollan. He's an American author, a journalist. He's written so much about this. And he gave us the gift of this phrase, eat food, not too much, and mostly plants. So I love that he could distill all of that into those three simple things. Now, most of us know that eating vegetables is good for us, although, not a lot of us are doing it. And the major barrier is sometimes that they're not really seen as being delicious or really exciting or inviting to eat. They're usually a chore to eat. So we really hope to shift this mindset, open you up to some new ways of experiencing food, because we want to be able to love the food that's going to love us back. And we do want to just plant that seed today and also invite you to explore additional resources. And I'm going to put one of those in the chat here, which is a video link. This goes to some YouTube videos. They're short, 3 to 5 minutes each, and it's a whole series that Stanford School of Medicine put together, just giving us the why and the how and practical skills to start moving in this direction. So again, if you're just at the beginning of the journey, this can just help to create more excitement and more invitation around that change. And I want to draw attention briefly to some of the handouts that were included in your link with your class today. One of them is this whole food plant-based healthy plate, we call it. Some of you might be familiar more with the food pyramid, right, that a lot of us grew up with, but through research over time, we've got a new diagram. So we have this diagram of a plate, and you'll notice the plate is in these 3 different quadrants. So half the plate is vegetables, 1/4 of it to protein, 1/4 of it to healthy starches. The main thing I want you to take away from this, you guys, is there should be color. There should be a lot of vibrancy on that plate looking back at you. So if you just feel happy when you look at it. So if you see that, you know you're moving in the right direction. We do have additional classes specifically on these topics, and I'll share more about that at the end of our class time today. We are going to take a few minutes to just pull up some of the recipes. We'll talk through them a little bit. Then Chef will be demonstrating them virtually and preparing them. We do invite you again to ask questions through the chat. She can offer some support or substitutions if needed. We know that everybody's coming in, right, with a different base knowledge. Some of you, you've been joining us for a couple of years. For other of you, again, it's your first time. So the idea with this is just to give you some direction and then be able to move at the pace that you choose to do. So the recipes again are included in that email. You have access to them. We'll also again put them up on the screen here, but just want to draw this attention to you so you can pull that up, print it, or download it so you have access to that at home as well. Did I miss anything, Allison? We get it all in?
Heather, I can't believe it. You managed and you did it in the 5 minutes. So I'm with you. I'm happy that you did it.
Talking like an auctioneer. Because, you know, we want the main part of this class really about Chef Alyssa, her cooking, and you guys having the opportunity to witness it and ask questions. So, Chef, I will hand it over to you. And I believe the first recipe you're going to be showing us today is one I'm super excited about, this brownie surprise. And you can tell us what the surprise is.
Okay, well, yeah, the big surprise is these are black bean brownies. So we're going to process the black beans and it'll be blended in, and it'll be hard to tell that you've got a good source of protein there in your brownies.
All right.
We're going to have you go. Yeah, let's have you go over this. If there's anything, that we need. Is there anything you want to highlight on this? Or it's up to you.
Okay.
Just through this recipe.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to process the black beans with a little bit of oil. We can talk a little bit about that too as alternatives. And then we are also going to be thickening some chia or flax seeds with a little bit of water, kind of giving it like an egg-like gel. Going to combine that together and then add it to some sifted cocoa powder, some flour of choice, a little bit of sugar, and salt and baking powder. Then we're going to mix that all together, add in some chocolate chips or chopped chocolate chunks, however you want to add that in. And then we're going to top it with some chopped nuts. Again, that's optional, or seeds. And then we're going to bake it off.
All right. Fantastic. And I know I want to reiterate our topic for today is potlucks and parties. And we know a lot of people like to bring desserts to parties. And so this is a great alternative to consider. So, and I love that you've got a substitute for eggs, right? Because everybody talks about the cost of eggs now. So we can make flax eggs.
Right.
Here we go.
Okay. So I'm going to just bring in the food processor and get this out of the camera. And what we're going to do first is I went ahead and let me show you. Sorry, I've got.
Okay, I'm gonna have to have you pull it a little closer to the. There we go. You guys, we're gonna get front and center view of this. This is great.
So you know, you can use if you are not familiar with flax or chia seeds, you can get these in the bulk section of a health market, or you can also buy more, obviously, in a package through Whole Foods. They're available all over. But what I did was I just got a small amount at the local Down to Earth. These are black chia seeds, and then I ground them in a coffee grinder. And so after grinding it, it looks like this. I don't know if that helps, but it's kind of more powdery. And before the class, I added a little bit of water and vanilla, and I've got this nice kind of a thick consistency, so that'll help bind things. It's a great source of chia, omega-3. I know flax is omega-3. Chia, that's a good question. I'm not sure about chia. You folks know?
But I love the tip of grinding it, because it usually takes so long that it bloomed in such a quick way. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and I just tend to keep one little processor, coffee mill, just for seeds and just things that I want to, or the spices that I want to grind, and keep that separate, the flavors separate. So I'm going to go ahead and add my black beans, which are rinsed and drained, into the food processor. And, you know, there's various recipes out there. So, you know, they tend to use different fats and different sugars. This one calls for, and some of them don't call for any at all, but I just add 1 tablespoon of oil, and I have avocado oil today. So I'm going to add my oil in. The other alternative, it could be almond butter or peanut butter or even tahini. You could add that in instead of the oil. It gives it a little richness. And then just going to process this until it is just smooth. Okay, so give me a moment. It's going to be a little noisy.
Actually, that's nice and quiet. And as she's doing that quickly, yes, you're right. Our chia seeds offer a great source of fiber, omega-3 fatty acids, protein, and antioxidants.
The chia?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. I wasn't sure about that. I thought it was the omega-3. Okay, I'm going to do it just one more time.
And what I love about you doing this as you whir it up is that, you know, we often go, oh, black beans, I'm not going to try this. So watching you do it, I tell you guys, this is how you do it. Watch it. It's not that hard and it tastes delicious.
All right. So that is what it looks like. Let me put this here. So it kind of looks like a paste. We should move this here. See how gracefully I can do this. I've got a bowl here that has sifted cocoa powder. So it'd be really good to, if you can sift it as you're putting it in the bowl. I just use like a fine mesh strainer just because cocoa powder can tend to clump. I have some sugar. Like I said, let's see, I had sugar, baking powder, and I actually have gluten-free flour blend today. It's a Bob's Red Mill 1-on-1 and a little bit of salt. So I've got this all stirred together, and I'm going to add my chia mix to my black bean mix. And I'm going to add this here and here. I might need to get gloves on, get in there, mixed up well. Okay. Sometimes it's easier that way. Before I do that, I'll just
Would you
show
put it all
you.
in the food processor too? And just
Well,
put that
the one
in?
thing, yeah, the one challenge of putting in the food processor is when once you do like the chia or the flax, that it starts like really like making it hard for it to move.
Oh,
Yeah.
You don't
okay.
want to ruin your
Good to
food
know.
processor. Burn it
No.
out, right? Yeah,
Right.
so you got to be
Okay,
mindful. So
good. Glad I asked.
that's kind of that step. So what I did was I have a square pie plate, a baking dish, and I've lined it with parchment paper. So it'll be easier to lift out and chill and then cut into squares. So that's prepared. And I'm going to get my hands in there and mix this. If it seems like it needs a little moisture, I'll add a little water. Which I have from the other tray. It could be just the different types of flours. They absorb liquid different.
And if you weren't using, is there a go-to for you that you like? I love the fact that we can use different ones, but is there?
I used, when I practiced, I used oat flour the other day, whole wheat pastry flour. You can use white flour. I just, because of the nature of my work, I tend to cook for people who have kinds of health challenges or they're avoiding things. So I have a lot of different alternative flours in my cupboard. Just gonna add a little bit here. Make that a little easier. And then I'm gonna add my chocolate chips.
And again, this is preference to taste, right? You could use semi-sweet, dark.
Exactly.
You know, remember, dark has good benefits, this dark chocolate.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna move this out of the way so that I can pat this in.
And I think what's nice as she's doing that, it is always nice to kind of keep your area clean as you go. And I think that's a real chef move that we can use at home, because otherwise you can get confused, but you just make it look so seamless.
Oh, well. And then one of the things you can do is you can use like plastic wrap or more parchment paper to put on top to just kind of flatten the and make it even. The other thing I like to do, and let me go get it, it's one of my favorite spatulas. Hold on. Benefits of being in your own house. Okay. It's just something like this, a flat spatula, and then you can, if it sticks, you can put a little water on it or oil, or the plastic wrap really helps. You just do a little bit of, I call it saran wrap. I think it's just generally plastic wrap. What do we call it? Parchment paper.
If you're in England, cling
it all
film.
works. Yeah. What are they? Oh.
That's it, cling film.
Yeah.
But I think parchment, I think, you know, there are different ways to do it. I like that you're using it on the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then I've just got some chopped walnuts. You could do pecan. You can do anything, right? What do you like? Just what do you got in your cupboard, freezer? I tend to keep my nuts in the freezer.
And honestly, to our participants, doesn't that look like a regular brownie to you? You'd never
Nice
know,
and easy.
right? Look at that.
So we're going to put this in the oven and bake it off. I'm going to check it, let's see, in 15 minutes and see how it looks. Okay.
Great. Do you want us to throw up the other recipe and we can talk about it as you're setting up? Or is there more on this one? Great.
Okay. Yep.
So first recipe down, Heather.
Right.
Yeah, let's put up and take a look.
And Ursula said, can the nuts be mixed in? And I would say it's safe to say yes. Yeah, towards
yes,
the end there.
Definitely. Yeah. I just tend to like my nuts on the top. That's
personal preference. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of personal preferences.
All right, so we got one party down, but we got two more parties to go to. So let's move into the udon noodles. You want to go over it?
I'm going to have you read it as I'm going to print it or like put it on the screen right now. I'm really excited about this one. I love peanut sauce.
Sounds really good.
Yeah.
So we got some udon noodles, we got some sesame oil, we got wonbok cabbage sliced thinly, some carrots, some bell peppers, cucumbers. Then we got some herbs. We got mint, cilantro, green onions, and you can optional add some protein, which would be in the form of some marinated tofu. So again, I'm seeing lots of color coming into this meal, so I know I'm on track with the healthy plate on this one.
Chef, is the tofu, is it firm? Which type of tofu have you were going to use it in here?
I am using, I think today is a package of Costco Firm organic. So I changed it a little bit, and I actually did it in the air fryer today.
Oh, right. Yes.
And then she'll show us and give us the dressing. Yeah. What's in the dressing?
The dressing, we've got some garlic and ginger and silken tofu in the dressing. So again, we're adding in some plant-based protein into the dressing that also acts as a creamer in there. Some peanut butter, honey, some chili paste, soy sauce, rice vinegar, and some water as needed to kind of get it to the desired consistency. So this, I can already tell my mouth is watering.
Me too.
Really good. So I'm going to take this down and let's look at the food.
Let's check it out. All right. Thanks, Heather. Okay, we got to give it. It's a little blurry. I think it's trying to set in. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what. There we go. All right. There we go. I don't know. It automatically fixed, but it's all right.
But it needs to be like higher or something. Yeah.
That's okay. Well, maybe just have the noodles in the center And then if you more
Oh, I
towards your
see what you're
tray, yeah. And then we'll go from there and you can push the other ones in. Once a producer, always a producer. There we go. All right, look at that color, Heather. We ready to do it or what?
Looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple things. I just wanted to start with what are udon noodles and what are they like? They're kind of like Oriental fettuccine. Let's be a kind of easy way. They're kind of thick. I mean, more wide, flat noodles. These, I tend to buy this. It's called Haku Baku. They're from Australia, organic from, but I got them at, where did I buy these at? I bought them at Safeway. Safeway? I get them at Times. They're all you can find them pretty easily in the stores. And they cook in 4 minutes. So it's good to just, I should probably had changed the recipe to say cook the noodles based on the package instructions, because you don't know which noodles you're going to buy and how long they take. So just kind of keep that in mind to read and see what the noodles package says. Once it's cooked and you drain it, you want to rinse it with cool water. That's one of the things you do with Asian noodles until it is all cool. Let it drain. And then I tossed it with a little bit of toasted sesame oil, put a little salt on. You could pour a little tamari. And if it gets sticky, as it's sitting, because I did this right before class, you can just add a little bit of water. And that helps to loosen things up. So hopefully that answers a few questions you might have if you haven't worked with udon noodles before. And you can plug in other kinds of noodles. This is just a very versatile recipe. Just kind of like a cold noodle salad. So if you aren't familiar with wonbok, I can show you what it looks like. It's a head. It's a local cabbage. This is what it looks like shredded. It's got kind of this nice little feathery, delicate leaves, crunchy white ends. You could substitute in romaine lettuce. You could substitute in bok choy, pak choy, which has a darker green leaf. Whatever you can find in the stores.
Yeah, it kind of looks like Napa cabbage. Is that the
It
same?
is Napa
Yeah,
cabbage.
that's what it
Yes.
is. That's another name for the.
AKA Napa cabbage, right?
Yeah, okay. So we all have our name for it. I like the
Right.
way it
Penguin,
looks.
yeah,
Mhm.
which is commonly used in kimchi. Yeah. So we're going to add this in. We're basically going to add everything in. I've got red bell peppers that I've cut into thin strips. I've got some cilantro that I've chopped. I've got some green onions that I've cut up. I've got some carrots that I've grated. And I've got some fresh mint that I have not cut. And one of the reasons why I just wanted to show you that I prepped the mint. And one of the things I like to do with mint, and sometimes with basil, is I like to use just shears. And these are like $3 special from Target. And I like to actually cut them, because I find that, and it's not a big deal, but because I do things for people who are maybe like catering a lunch and all that, I try and make things, visually attractive. Mint can get black real easily if it gets bruised when you use a knife. Sometimes if the knife is not really sharp, it can turn black. So I like to just kind of slice them.
That's such a
With
great
scissors.
tip.
It really
It is.
is.
Yeah.
Great chef
I never
tip.
really
So,
knew what to do with my kitchen shears. Now I have a purpose.
Now
Ah,
you do.
yeah. So basil, sometimes, yeah, I'll do this with basil too. So that's just one little tip. The other thing is, I think some people don't really know about cucumbers. So the way I did this, and I just kind of want to show you, is because I cook for people who might not necessarily be eating what I'm making the same day or the day after, So some people I cook for once a week. And so I never really know how things are going to last in their fridge. But one thing I've learned that cucumbers can kind of get slimy. I don't know if you've experienced that, right? You may have a salad, you haven't eaten it for a couple of days, it's got cucumber in it, and it gets kind of funky. I don't know. Maybe I'm
Yep,
the only one.
I have that.
I'm
Yep.
nodding over here.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
So one of the things I do first off is this is a habit. People are going, why are you doing it? I kind of stripe it, and partially it's because cucumbers, these are the Japanese cucumbers, which are just so delicious here locally. Most cucumbers are one of the vegetables that's highly sprayed. So I tend to, you can completely peel it. I just tend to, I like the green for color, so I stripe it a little bit. The other thing I tend to do with cucumbers, again, with that idea of that maybe you're not going to eat it right away, or this kind of makes it last better, is if you take out the seeds. There's other ways you can take out seeds with like a thin spoon. I just do this with my knife because I'm doing it with my knife. A little spoon, a little melon peeler, can scoop out the seeds. This one doesn't have a lot of seeds. That also helps. Some people can't digest cucumber seeds really well. So it just makes it a little bit more easier for some people's stomachs. So I just figured I
Another
would
great
tell you
tip.
a
Yeah.
couple of things there. The tofu I cut into cubes. I put a little bit of tamari and sesame oil and a little salt. And you could put sambal and rice vinegar, kind of that Asian marinade that we did with the musubis last month. This would be a great marinade to just baste on top of your tofu cubes and then air fry them. So that's another idea that you could do. I just
Heather,
wanted
you've converted her. You've got her using the air fryer.
I know.
yes, I
It's so
finally got
exciting.
it. Thank you very much.
You're
So
welcome.
appreciate it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to just put this in and toss it, and then we'll go on to the salad dressing. Okay.
Right.
Get
I'm
my
gonna have you
hand.
push the bowl towards the red
Thank you very
peppers. Thank you,
much.
because we want to
Thank
see that
you.
front and
Okay.
center. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So you can see this says sitting. This makes a lot, and that was the other thing in the recipe. I think it says how much noodles this is. Oh, 12 ounces. So this package is 9.5 ounces. So it makes, and that was, I think, 3 of the bundles. I mean, the whole package, there were 3 bundles. So just so you can get a visual, sorry, this is making a good amount of noodles, especially it's great for a potluck. Just so you know, it can feed a crowd. And I might not have enough room. When I'm looking at this cabbage going, I don't know how I'm gonna, yeah, okay.
I know. I love when you're a bag person or a bowl person, you're always happy when you have that one extra bowl that might be a little bit bigger. But I love the fact that the gloves, great idea, but we sometimes forget clean hands. Just having our hands, it really makes a difference to be
Oh
able to
yeah,
cook and stir. It's just the
yeah,
best.
yeah, it definitely helps. So, but you get an idea here of, I'm just mixing it in. Try and see if I can get a little bit more. And then I tend to, and I'm gonna, move on to the salad dressing, but I tend to serve the salad dressing on the side because some people are more saucy people. Some people aren't. It's also prettier without it being dressed, I think. And what was I going to say? Oh, so part of knowing that you're going to have the peanut sauce on the side is make sure that your noodles are well dressed too. Some people might, just having a good amount of, coating of sesame oil and a little bit of Bragg's or tamari and a little salt. That just makes it tasty all on its own, yeah.
And I think as you're doing that, a nice tip I noticed, and you guys probably already know, but if you're going to a party, having if you have your sauce instead of in a bowl, if you have it in
Mhm.
one of those squeeze, like a squeeze
Ah,
bottle,
Oh, that's a
it's
good idea.
nice because then people
Yeah.
aren't dipping
Not
and they can
dripping.
squeeze it dripping, making a mess. So,
Oh,
and then people can put on as much and they aren't often overdoing it. So
so many
just a
good
good
little
point.
tip.
tips today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
know we're on it today.
good point. So I'm gonna go and just move this to the side and then we'll work on the salad dressing, but just so you get an idea, and I'm slowly getting this worked in. And then you can put the tofu in at the end or on this side. If I was going to serve, actually, this was a serving bowl, I probably would put the tofu all around, on the edges like this. Um,
It's really pretty. A lot of
yeah,
color. It really is inviting. You're making us hungry.
yeah. So
Healthy,
anyway,
beautiful food.
I could keep fussing with it. I'm going to stop fussing with it. And I'm going to move on to talk about how to make the dressing. Okay, let me just go put this here, make space. Okay, so the salad dressing is a combination of peanut butter and silken tofu. And this is optional, but it just adds a little bit of protein. It's open and it's a little wet. So this is Morinu silken tofu. You can get it in the Asian section of grocery stores. I couldn't actually find it at Safeway, but they always sell it at Long's or CVS. So I got it, and it goes on sale usually for about $1 at Long's. So I always try and stock up. And there's different firmnesses. So you can actually use any of them. But I have Nagari Firm here today. You could not, you could omit it. And if you do, then you might want a little more peanut butter. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and combine this in my
We probably want to say
blender.
too, not all peanut butters are created equal either,
Exactly.
My
right?
goodness,
So
thank
probably not
you.
doing the Skippy or the Jiffy or any of those, but looking for ones that don't have hydrogenated oils. So any of the
Thank you.
natural peanut butters. Yeah. Do you want to talk more about that?
Yes, it's funny because it's such a I just go there. I don't even think about it anymore. But yes, so this is the organic peanut butter from Costco. Yeah, a lot of peanut butters like Jiffy and Skippy and well, gosh, Jif and Skippy. They tend to have hydrogenated oils and or palm oil, which some people are trying to avoid palm oil as well for the no stir peanut butters. Of course, the stir ones can be a little bit messy, just trying to get it all mixed together, but I'll go the distance. I'll do it. It's
Me
okay.
too. And I find that if you do it before you put it in the fridge and you just kind of slowly start in the bottom, get your little arm workout while you're doing it,
Put
and
it in the
it's so
sink while
worth
you're
it.
doing it.
Yep,
Okay,
there you
well,
go.
I'm gonna check the oven. It just beeped.
Yeah,
Yep.
and there's actually one of the stores we have here on Maui, Mana Foods, they have a grinder where it's just the
Yeah.
peanuts in the top and you push a button and then it just grinds out some, peanut butter into a tub. And so you may
Yep.
have some of those in your area you could check for as well. But good to know there's just options at stores we may already be at, like Costco and
And
things
I
too.
know, I don't know if
Hmm.
they do that at Costco, but Whole
Mm.
Foods used to. Sadly, on the Big Island, we don't have Whole Foods
They
over
don't
here, but
have it
not
any,
a,
they used to have it at
yeah,
Whole Foods, but ever
not
since COVID,
anymore.
they didn't have it there.
Mm-hmm.
But oh yes, as far as I know, Down to Earth also
Mm-hmm.
has it too. So you could look for that. Really fresh ground peanut butter.
Yeah. And if you can't, don't get scared away by the ones that have that layer. Just kind of go in
Yeah.
and slowly do it. And once you do incorporate it, if you keep it in the refrigerator, if you do, it stays that way. It really
Mm-hmm.
does. So,
So
all right,
the
look at
brownies
this.
Ooh,
The brownies are
wow.
Nice.
done. I have one
Oh,
of these little testing pokey sticks,
mm-hmm.
and it is all nice and not gooey.
And what's the
Um,
temperature you're
so,
looking for when you're doing that?
I did 350
Okay.
degrees, and
Okay.
I think I did this for 12 minutes. So
Perfect. Look
12
at that.
to, what did I say, 15? I'm sorry.
Mhm.
There it is.
Mm-hmm.
15 to 20. I start short just because I'm also in a small oven. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm going to let this cool a little bit. And I was saying before class that when I did the test run yesterday, I made like a little thin chocolate glaze where I melted some cocoa with what did I do? Actually, I melted chocolate chips and a little bit of like milk. I had some almond milk. And oh right, I had a chocolate bar that was unsweetened, so I added a little maple syrup, and I made this wonderful little chocolate glaze that was fun. That was really yummy. So that's another option too. So I'll put this in here for a few minutes. Let it cool down. And so in our salad dressing, moving on to our udon noodle, I have garlic, fresh garlic, and ginger. Wait, I got to go over here, don't I? Sorry. Thank you. And some fresh chopped ginger. And I have the peanut butter that we were talking about. So this is not well stirred, so it's pretty thick with some of the oil. But it's perfect for something like this. And then this is some honey, or it could be whatever sweetener you have. And then this is a combination of sambal, chili paste, shoyu, rice vinegar. And the silken tofu is supposed to be a half a cup. So I'm going to scoop this out a little bit more. You can see I eyeball things. And then there's some water for thickness. So I'm going to just start there. Then I'm going to go in the kitchen and blend. So bear with me. Be back.
I do like the idea of trying something because I never know what to do with silken tofu. I'm always nervous to try it. So I love that there's ways to make it in a sauce.
I know, I'm excited to see this also. And I really like your idea, Alison, of putting it in a squeegee container
Yes.
for the dressing. That's so smart.
Yeah. Well, I'm one of those saucy girls, so I need to watch that so it helps
Right.
me not overdo it.
I'm just thinking about all the dribbling that happens between
In
where
the
the
parties,
scooper is and the plate, right?
Yeah.
personalities are coming out.
This worked out just fine. So I didn't have to add, that was perfect amount of water to blend it up. And you know, with recipes like this, I tend to, I mean, I didn't today, but if I'm by myself, I like to just make sure that the balance is there. You know, I might, depending upon who I'm cooking for, I might want it a little spicier. You know, it might need a little bit more ginger. Some people don't like, you know, anyway, so a little more salt, hit of this or that. And
Beautiful.
so this is the peanut sauce. And again, I would just, like you're saying, I think that's a great idea of dribbling it on the side. I mean, putting it in a container so you can squeeze it in, squeeze it over your serving.
I'm going to have you pull the peanut sauce just down by your spoon so we can look at it one more time the other way. Yeah, there we go. So we can take a nice look
That
at that.
work?
Looks, yep. And then
Okay.
pull your bowl back a
Where
little
am
bit
I?
too, and then I can take a photo of it. A little toward your hand. No, no, down. That's okay. Never mind. I'm confusing our chef. Beautiful. Just so we can all see it. Looks fantastic. And now we're going to get I'm going to just take a picture before we take it down. And Heather, I'm going to have you pull up the next
Yes.
recipe.
I know we got one more
Gorgeous.
to go.
One more to
I love that we got
go.
one more party left.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me change. Oh, look, I can't change it yet. She's putting
I
these
know.
nice
She's
little
making it
sprigs
so
on it.
pretty.
Okay, maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, very good.
Okay. Oop.
Okay.
5:30.
All right,
Okay.
so we got the udon noodles down, and next we're
All
moving
right.
into while she's kind of transitioning the kitchen there, we're going to go over this recipe. So we
Yeah.
got the fresh corn salad. It's another option. So we got a head of lettuce, varieties of lettuce I'm sure she'll go over. We can use some corn, some cilantro, 2 green onions, some ripe avocados, ripe tomatoes, jalapeno if you like things spicy, but that is optional. And then our dressing, we've got some olive oil, honey, garlic, salt and pepper, and lime juice. That seems nice and simple and very
Yeah.
fresh, like just like the label says, right? The description, fresh
Fresh corn
salad.
salad. I can't wait till
Yeah.
we spotlight this again. Look at all
Okay.
that color, Heather. And
Okay.
you guys, please, if you have any questions for Chef about any of these, put them in the chat. We
Yeah.
definitely, this is why we're here. That looks great.
Thank you. Yes, and so we will start with the fresh corn. This is definitely the season for corn, and I happen to find some. I've been seeing it on sale in most of the grocery stores, but I happened upon. I was sweeping through Whole Foods, which I haven't gone that much lately, but they had a 4-pack, and so I picked up the corn from Whole Foods, but I've been eating some really nice local corn from the North Shore here on Oahu. That is just delicious. This is a raw corn salad, so it's kind of fun, nice and crunchy. Get some nice sweetness from the fresh corn. I'm going to show you how I cut the corn because I don't know. Some people might not have been exposed to how you do that. How do
Or
we?
eating it raw. I always think
Or
you have to
eating it
cook
raw.
it. So I love the idea that
Right.
you don't have to.
Yeah. So I am going to just kind of take this off. I've got some garlic, some fresh lime juice, salt, pepper, cilantro, jalapeno that I seeded, and then I have a beautiful Camuella tomato that I figure is kind of equivalent to 2.
Wow, that looks
So I'm going to
gorgeous.
cut that up, and then I've got a nice ripe avocado that I'm going to cut up, which is nothing like Allison's, but yeah. So let me see. I need to move this a little bit, right? Out of,
It looks great. Looks fantastic.
but
Yeah, if
if
you
I,
want to move it over, yeah, I'd pull it
yeah,
over a little bit more center.
all right,
Right
my
there.
little
That's
cutting
great.
mat.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So first off, I do it 2 ways. I either, if my cob is long enough, I break it in half. Okay. Put it flat down, and then I just go all the way around and cut off. I wash the cobs, and then
Doesn't
I
seem
just,
like it escapes as much when it's raw. Like whenever I cut it off the cob, anyone who had braces as
just
a
goes
kid always
flying.
likes to cut it off the cob, and mine always goes flying.
Now you're bringing me back, Allison.
I know. I've been cut, even when my kids didn't have it, they always wondered why I cut it off. And once in a while, you got to eat it on the cob, but how great. Look
Yeah.
at how much
So this
corn you
is
get.
one of my, oh, I'm sorry. This is one of my favorite kitchen tools. So it just scoops everything up, puts it in the bowl. I have a bigger bowl waiting for me over there. Okay. So that's just kind of a visual of how I do it. So it's not that hard, but yes, it can get a little messy. It's a good point about braces.
Corn was one of those things you
Mm.
just couldn't eat on the cob.
Oh,
Can you also use frozen corn or like the corn you get in the grocery store and kind of thaw it out and put that in here as well?
sure.
That's already
Sure.
kind of off the
I,
cob if you're
I've
trying
done
to
it
save
off.
time.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've done it off season, or or just frozen corn. You
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
could just do
Yep.
that.
I mean, I think the thing is just take off the fresh from the corn salad and call it corn salad. But if you can get it fresh, just like we always say, that's great. But don't get scared of frozen vegetables or, they pick them often at their ripest. So,
Yeah, I have found, and maybe I'm not buying the right ones, but I don't buy corn on the cob frozen very
no,
often. But when I have, it's been kind of soggy. At least that's my,
I've never heard of frozen corn on the cob. So I'm learning something new, but
yeah.
I won't
So
go for it.
I prefer just buying frozen corn, personally. Okay, So the avocado, I know people can get cut with avocados, but this is kind of how I do it to as safe as possible. Get my hands out of the way. That's a good way to do it. And then sometimes I'll use a spoon and just kind of scoop it out. Especially if one has kind of a thin edge, you can just kind of get in there. And this one's just pulling away. I tend to like to look on the backside, make sure there's no black spots, but that's kind of the way I roll. Just everything like to make it look pretty. Okay, put this in here.
It's such a great combination with the crunch of the corn and the smoothness of the avocado. It's just fantastic.
Okay, and then I've got, so I will just keep cutting this, trying to keep my everything out of the way. So with the part with the seed, I tend to do it in half and then kind of pull it apart.
Wow, I love that. I've never seen it done that way. Yeah, I always get the seed out, and that's the scary part.
And then sometimes if it's not quite ripe yet, it pulls half the avocado with
it.
The seed.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I just wanted to make sure it's looking good on the, never know with avocados. And then this point.
Wow, really less waste that way, for sure. That's why she's the chef, Heather.
Kind of chunky. All right, so then for the tomato, and then I learned, gosh, I don't know if it was when I was at KCC, when I was doing some teaching there, but they would always say use the backside of the knife to scrape the cutting mat so that you're not dulling your knife by cleaning it with the knife blade. I don't know. Has anyone ever heard that one?
Another good tip. Yeah.
All right. So you can, let's see here, the tomato. This is another thing that sometimes they do in cooking classes is they'll, do you mind if there's seeds or not seeds? First off,
no
take off the
labeling.
sticker. But you can de-seed it, and this is the way I tend to de-seed it. Just get your thumbs in there. It will make it less wet if you take out the seeds. You're going to eat it right away. It's probably not a big deal. Sometimes, I kind of like it juicy, right? So it's kind of like where but if you're going to a party and you don't want the dressing to mix with the seed, then you've got water, the liquid more settling at the bottom of the salad. Or you could toss it in right then when you go. You can just de-seed it like that. Some people squeeze it, but this is a really nice tomato. I don't want to do that to Kamoila a tomato. And if you're not seeding it, then you're going to do it that way, right? Ugh. Sorry, I'm going to get that little end part. Do you seed yours? What is the consensus here?
I think it's a little both. I like that you did half and half because I like also that you seeded it so easily with your thumb, because often you think, oh, I've got to get something else out, and it came out so easily. Like that was great. Yeah. Clean hands, really.
Over a sink, yes, of course.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. We often forget our hands are our best tools.
Okay. All right. So let me get this mess out of the way real quick.
Yeah, I tend to de-seed mine too if I'm doing a salad, kind of like that, again, just to minimize the water, the kind of soupiness to it, and it can last a little bit longer too, similar to the cucumber.
Yeah. Okay, so then I've got green onions. I've got cilantro. I tend to keep some of the stems with the cilantro. Some people think the stems make it taste soapy. I don't know. I like cilantro. I haven't had a lot of picky cilantro clients. I don't know where what your thoughts are. But
I
I
think
can.
it's one of those herbs that it's half and half. I think if you have that place where it tastes soapy, you may not like it. You can substitute it out. But if you love cilantro, or it can be called, right, Chinese parsley sometimes, the taste is delicious. It adds so much. Uh-oh, we lost your sound. Let's see. Did it by chance? There we go. There you
Okay.
go. I can hear you
All right.
now. There we go.
Energy saver turned on. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully we're there. We got 10 minutes left. Let's hope we're not unplugged. You keep going. Uh-oh. We might have to do what we did last time and finish on her. There we go. You're moving again. We can see
I think
it.
she might be going to plug it in, maybe.
Maybe it unplugged.
Hold on one sec. I got it right here.
Okay. Well, we get to look at the beautiful plate of colorful food. So, and I always like to say, you know, colorful food is happy plate. Look at that.
It is. Like I said, we're meeting what we talked about at the beginning, just having some color looking back at you knows, you're moving in the right direction. So we've
That's
had
right.
lots of color on these ones.
And really what I love about
Okay.
everything we're making, yeah, we can hear you, we're there, is that all the vegetables that have been put into all this food, we've really gotten a lot in there.
So many nutrients. Yep.
Might take a minute to, hopefully it'll get less blurry. The camera might need to reset. We'll see. Keep on talking. We'll just keep on going. But
okay. So
yeah.
I have jalapeno. It was a fat jalapeno, so I used half of one. And the reason why they say seeded and to take out the ribs is because that's where the spiciness is. If that doesn't matter to you, then you can just give them and have it all in there. But this is kind of the norm, is that you take out the seeds and the ribs. And
it's
then
still a little blurry, but we can see it. I don't know if there's a way to focus it, but if not, that's okay. We'll keep going. And if not, we'll change the view.
I'm sorry, I don't.
That's
I don't
okay.
know.
No worries.
Okay.
Just keep on going. We're towards the end.
Okay.
And it'll be magically,
So,
hopefully, change for us. I'm going to add you in here.
It looks like I didn't add the green onions. So I will add the green onions. Just say I added the green onions. I have a little bit of the corn. What is that called? Corn silk. That's what happens with fresh corn. And then I have fresh lime juice. And I have 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of lime juice. I have some honey in there, so I'm going to combine all this. Fresh garlic and some salt and pepper. And I'm going to whisk that together.
Where she brings out her mini whisk,
I
which
know,
is one of
I
my
love
favorites.
We have you
I
on a
love the
split
mini
screen
whisk.
now since it's a little, yeah.
I
but
love
it is a
my
good one.
mini whisk. I use it all the time. Okay, and I'm going to put over here just because I'll make a mess. All right. Just get that little honey that's just hanging out there at the bottom of this. And there's a little bit of garlic hanging out in the little bottom of that. Okay. And
Maybe the computer just got hungry and it's just getting tired when it's on energy mode, because it is a little, I'm sorry, you guys, that the visual, but yeah, it's still a little bit blurry, but that's okay. What we might have you do is at the end, at least show us with your with your phone camera.
Okay.
But right now, keep going. We'll keep going.
Okay. So one of the things you could do here is you could add black olives. That would be really yummy. You could add a little bit of cumin. What does they call that? Is it Tajin? What is the lime spice?
Oh, I can't remember that.
Yeah, that one. That would be good in here. And then of course I've got the green onions to add in. So you could have fun. You could play with this and bump things up. You could add some bell pepper. But it's just a delicious salad all on its own. Yeah. So you want it with the phone camera? Would that help?
There we go. Yeah. And then let's see, you can see that one, right,
Yeah.
Allison? Okay.
Well, yeah, I
You
would just
want me?
say, yeah, take your phone camera and just do a close up on it because it's just a little blurry at the just at the food. If you could, since we're at the end of class, we made it till the end. We're making I'm going to stop this one for, and then just have you show it. I'm going to stop the spotlight on that for a second.
This way?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
let's see if we can, well, there we go. It's like, there you go. Beautiful. There we go.
Wow. That looks
Okay.
Yeah.
delicious.
All right.
All
Great.
right.
Thank
Another
you.
party favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
All right.
I'm gonna do this. So
Yeah, I'll change that. I'll put the other one back up for everyone just to see maybe it'll have changed. But look at that, three delicious recipes in less than an hour. So, yep.
Wow.
let me get the
Wow.
brownies.
Yep. Even blurry, it looks beautiful.
Right? That's when you know it's good food, when even when it's blurry, you can
Yeah.
tell it looks good.
Look at that. And you can tell the camera is trying very hard to focus in and say,
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
that's,
So
Huh.
chat
yeah.
in with us, you guys. Let us know
Yeah.
how you're feeling about this. Do you see yourself making some of these recipes? Does it seem doable to you? We hope you'll try them. And
Yeah.
Chef Alyssa, I was going to ask you a question. So the brownies, how would you describe the texture? Are they chewy? Are they cakey? Are they like what type of texture do you think they
Um,
are?
they aren't chewy. They aren't
Hmm.
cakey.
Okay.
They're kind of right in between. And again, depending upon the type of flour you're using, I think
Mm,
it's gonna depend on what the texture is going to be like. So if you're gonna, I would think it'd be a little more chewy and dense if you're gonna use like a white flour. Uh,
mhm.
the gluten-free blends tend to have like rice flour in them, so they might be a little
More
less,
gummy. Hmm.
right? Well, you're just a little more, I wouldn't say gritty, but you know that different.
Mm-hmm.
With the oat flour, it's going to be more moist. So yeah, it's interesting how they vary based on
Okay.
what the flour is.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
And you guys, if you have any questions for Chef, otherwise, another wonderful cooking hour with Chef Alyssa.
Yeah.
And
And
look
I
at all
will.
those foods that you can take. Yeah, put up whatever we need, what you could take to a party, have at your next potluck. Bring in and you can call it Brownie Surprise and have that be one of the, like, go, all right, what do you guys think is the surprise? Just
I
wait till
know.
they're done. I'm going to do
And
it
my
this
my
weekend with
name
my
was Foolin' Brownies, right?
full
Actually,
brownies,
Foolin'.
that
Oh,
was.
brownies. I like that.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, and we hope you got a lot of value out of your time tonight. Again, thank you so much for spending your evening here with us, and we wish you happy cooking. And we hope you've inspired you to come back again. So we do this every single month. Next month, our topic is going to be pastas and sauces, and I think that's such a great entry level way into more whole food plant-based cooking, right? Is people think, oh, if they have somebody who eats plant-based, they're coming over for dinner, like, oh, what do I make? I'll make a pasta. And so
Yeah.
this is a great way to make that accessible to everybody. And if you'd like a little support in getting some of these new habits going, we hope that you'll take advantage of partnering with one of our wellness coaches. Allison and I are in this category, and we'd love to help you. Like sometimes we come to the class and then we get distracted. Other things come up, and those recipes are just there sitting on the counter. We'd love to help you make them by setting some goals and checking in with you and seeing how it's going and answering any questions. So could be around, eating, or could be around any of these other subject matters as well. And in addition to this class, we've got a whole bunch of other classes that are available for you to explore. So we hope you'll check these out, and we'll see you again in another class. And with that, again, we're here for any questions. We thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you next month. Thank you, Alyssa, again for a great class. And we're
You're
seeing lots
welcome.
of stuff in the chats with people feeling excited about cooking this weekend. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Exactly. Always fun, always something. I'm going to put in the chat just that the calendar, if I can get that in there. I'll do both of them. So if you guys want to, you can see what's upcoming. And we hope you join us next month. We'll be here fourth Thursday of every month. Looking forward to having you come and join us again. So thanks.
Yeah.
Happy cooking, you guys.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thanks,
Thank
Chef
you,
Alyssa.
Alyssa.
Bye. Bye.
Have
Sorry
a
about
great
the
evening,
camera.
everyone.
No, it's okay. Hey, it made it till the end. I think the camera just got hungry. We're just, but you look at all that color. It's almost,
Ah,
yeah, it just looks like it's just happy. We'll figure that out for next time.
yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
fantastic. All right. Have a
Take
great
These are
care.
one. Have a
great
good
recipes. Thanks,
time.
Alyssa. And
Bye.
happy eating to
Bye.
you.
I
Thank
know, we're coming.
you.
We're coming. Here we come.
All right. Good
Bye-bye.
evening,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.